Hello, everybody. My name is Cecelia Dublin, and Brother Dublin had asked me if I can do a 5 to 10 minute lesson. I thought to myself, well, what do I say to this audience? And the Lord said, you've been studying for several months, and why not start with a lesson that you have been reading about for a long time? So, the internet is full of information that is true and not true. But what is true is the war with coronavirus because of the evidence that we have seen around the world. Even though we can't see the enemy with the naked eye, we know that it's present. In the mornings, I have been studying and being in communion with God through His Word. And I started with Genesis several months ago, and now I'm in Judges. Well, for some reason, I keep going back to Joshua chapter 1. By this time, Moses had died, and now it's time for Joshua to lead the people to the promised land, flowing with milk and honey. And then in Joshua 1, verse 6, the word of the Lord tells Joshua to be strong and courageous. And you wonder, why does God say that to him? Joshua had shown great courage and successes in the past and seen the Lord's work at hand, but he still needed to be encouraged, partly because his work would be great, difficult, and long, especially if comparing with Moses. And remember how perverse the people were, even under Moses. He might very well expect the burden of ruling them would be too heavy for his shoulders. War probably was much easier for Joshua because he had so much faith in God. Remember, after spying on the land, he was eager to tell the Israelites that they could conquer the land the Lord had promised. There are three words that sort of remind me of being strong when the Lord told Joshua to be strong and courageous. It's firm, secure, and bold. These three words remind me of a soldier. Before they go to battle, they learn tradition, tactics, and methods of becoming a soldier. So if a war breaks out, they are ready to defend their country. When I see a soldier with his gear on, his statue displays firm, secure, and boldness. And all of this is an outward appearance that shows strength. And then I looked at the word courage, and three words sort of stood out: alert, mental, and brave. And so when I look at the word alert, it means that you're watching, you're paying attention. And brave, you're fearless. And then the mental part is the spiritual and the emotional, everything that's inside of you. So I see the strong being, your statue, your boldness, and then the courage is the inward person. And then verse 7 is very powerful to me because the Lord tells Joshua to be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Meditate day and night. So when you bring the word strong and courage together, and then you're meditating on his word, when you are facing difficulties of this life, you don't have to worry because the Lord will never forsake you. He will never leave you. And then he goes on in verse 9 and he talks about, the Lord tells Joshua, he says, do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. But before he says that, he tells him 3 times to be strong and be courage. He had to encourage him so that when times are tested, when he's terrified and discouraged, that the Lord is going to encourage him to do what he needs to fight this battle. Fear can be the enemy. It can cripple you. It can zap you from your life. But during this pandemic of coronavirus and life beyond it, remember God has already equipped you for battle. You already have the armor of God in Ephesians 6. Your spiritual equipment is light, so you can navigate when evil comes. You'll be able to stand your ground. If you have not been preparing yourself, it is never too late. Be strong and courageous. Stay in communion with God because he will never leave you nor forsake you, no matter what happens in this life. Be blessed.